All right, this should be on. Perfect. There we go. All right. Can I get a chat thing up here is the real question. There we are. Okay, we got chat up. All right, here we are. We are on Kyle Tucker watch. I don't know if we can technically call it watch because he's. I don't know. We aren't hearing anything that it's like a watch, but I wanted to come on here and just talk Kyle Tucker because it's kind of fun, especially because the Jays are actually interested and appear to be one of the top candidates for him. So here's what we know, and there's a lot. We know that the Jays have a long-term deal on the table. It's probably the longest deal that Tucker's going to see this free agency. The Mets have a 3-year deal on the table worth $120 to $140. We don't know much about that one. And then the Dodgers are lurking. They could have a similar deal to the Mets, and a decision is expected soon. Soon, I say. This week, next week, before February. I expect it to be this week. What we don't know is the details to the Mets offer. We don't know if there's opt-outs included. I'd be shocked if there wasn't opt-outs. There's no way Kyle Tucker's taking a 3-year deal with the Mets with no opt-outs. We don't know if there's deferrals or escalators, this and that. We don't know the details on the Jays offer, like the term, the length, opt-outs, no trade, escalators. We just know it's a long-term deal and that the Jays have sent it to Kyle Tucker's camp. We don't actually know if the Dodgers have an offer on the table. I would assume they do, or at least have like, hey, if you aren't getting what you want, come to us and we'll give you the offer. We'll match the short-term offer. And we don't know what Kyle Tucker prefers. We've heard he'd rather a long-term deal, but we don't know that for sure. So we don't know if it's short-term high AAV with a team like the Mets or a long-term security with a team that can actually win. We're just kind of sat here waiting. We don't know what's happening. But this all kind of got kick-started today when Will Salmon of The Athletic, I should have had this up ahead of time, basically said the Mets have this mega 50 AAV deal on the table for Kyle Tucker and that he appears to be heading towards a decision. Then Jesse Rogers, well, actually here, Ben Nicholson Smith had it, that this is where they were at. And that's great. And then Robert Murray mentioned the 50 AAV. And then it was mentioned by Jesse Rogers of ESPN that the Jays had the long-term deal on the table for Kyle Tucker. And now we sit and wait is basically where we're at. Felt like today's leak was very much just a final offer in today. Today's the day. Here's the final offer. I don't like throwing the word leverage around, especially as a Jays fan, but it felt like the Mets deal and everything, and then try and click on that. Felt like the Mets deal getting leaked was very much a leverage play of, here's where we are short term. And you got to kind of guess after that if there's opt-outs, deferrals, everything. Basically, this is the standard that we need if you want a short-term deal. And for the Jays, it was hey, we have a really good short-term deal on the table. Up your long-term offer. My guess is the Jays are probably hovering 350, and they probably want to get as close to 400 as possible. I would guess they could squeeze the Jays to 370 without the Jays kind of going back the heck off. That's where we're at. I felt like today's leak was just very much here's where we are, final offer in today, give us your best shot, and we're going to make a decision by the end of the week type of thing. That's where it felt like. They might go in and negotiate a little bit. Maybe there's something in a contract that he doesn't like maybe these short-term deals don't have the opt-out after year one. Maybe it's year two, and that could be like their little we want this instead. But again, I have a hard time seeing Kyle Tucker, who has put up 5 straight years of a 4-WAR season, take a short-term deal when he doesn't need to. And not to be crude to the Mets, but the Mets, I could understand if I woke up tomorrow and it was Kyle Tucker 3 years, 150, or 4 years, 180 to the Dodgers with opt-outs. That I could get. You're going to bat 5th in that lineup. You're not really going to have to be the dude because you're going to hit behind guys like Mookie and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani, and you throw Teoscar Hernandez in there, Will Smith. There's other guys in that lineup where he's not nearly the guy, and you're guaranteed a playoff spot. They're going to run deep into the playoffs. Whereas if it's the Mets, no shot at the Mets, but it's just, they're short term. They don't have a rotation. They're at best with Kyle Tucker, the 3rd best team in their division. They're spending $100 million on 2 bats, one of which could just up and waltz at the end of the year. And Sean Manaea-esque people are going to be their opening day starter. The biggest hole that this team had was starting pitching, and they have yet to address it. They haven't done a thing to address it. They haven't even got out and got a Sonny Gray. The Red Sox got Sonny Gray. They couldn't swing a deal. They couldn't swing that 3-year deal on Michael King. They fluked and flopped and missed out on Edwin Diaz, and they didn't want to give Pete Alonso his contract. To me, the Mets aren't an intriguing option compared to the other two. Let's be real. If you're comparing the 2 short-term deals, the Dodgers, even if the Dodgers offer less money, are the way more attractive destination than the Mets. The Mets could offer $70 a year, and I don't know if it would be enough to steal him from the Dodgers. And if he wants long-term, why? If the Jays have a 10-year deal over $350 million, so you're going to get, let's say 10-360. That's $36 a year for 10 years. With the team, you're going to be the favorites in the American League. They're the best team in the American League East. You put Kyle Tucker on that team, they're the clear favorites for the American League. It makes more sense to me if he takes the long-term deal over the short-term deal, unless it's the Dodgers. Is where I'm at. It doesn't make sense. And then the notion of get your $50 million this year and go get $400 next year. If he's not getting $400 after 5 straight seasons of 4-WAR years, or 4 or greater, I should say, at 29, he's not going to get it at 30. Because then that would be, you'd have to hit 10 years, so you take him till he's 40, at 40 AAV. That's not going to happen. How much do I think he gets paid? I think if it's the Jays, I would say between 360 and 370 with escalators that take it over 400. If he maxes out everything, we're talking MVP, regular season awards, postseason awards, milestones in the regular season. Maybe the escalators take him to 415. But I think the guarantee would be between 360 and 370. It'll be by far the biggest contract the Jays have handed out. It'll be Dylan Cease's number by well over $120 million, I would say. It's the Jays are going to, if the Jays are serious about Kyle Tucker, they would throw at least 36 a year at him for 10 years. But it feels like we finally got movement. It's just like, finally, it's been so long. We had Schwarber and Alonso go right away. We had some of the starters kind of go, and then it just fell silent. We're like, where the heck, Then Bregman goes, and you're like, all right, maybe this opens stuff up. Then you start hearing, well, Kyle Tucker's going to go, and now we're hearing Bo Bichette and the Phillies. It feels like we're finally moving. I think if you're the Jays, you got to go about this the right way without killing communications with Kyle Tucker. But I'd just go up and be like, here's our final offer. We need yes or no within 24 hours. And if it's a no, you just walk away and you go right to Bo Bichette. And whatever Bo Bichette's got on the table from Philly, you up it. Say Philly's put him 8 years, you go 9 years. Just do whatever you have to get. You can't leave the offseason without one of those two guys, even with Okamoto. And you just figure out the weird sort of stuff afterwards. What is this? Yeah, Mets fan. Mets Twitter is wrong by saying Tucker to Toronto is a distant third while he is most likely to go there. Yeah, very foolish me. He will definitely join Soto, Ohtani, Judge, and every other major league bat. Yeah, Tucker's had the Toronto offer for 2 months. He can take 40. I don't believe Kyle Tucker. Who the heck is that guy? I don't see the Mets. What's appealing about the Mets on a short-term deal? Yo, let's bring King Tuck home. Yeah, if you're a Jays fan, 100%. There's nothing. What would be appealing? Like, why would Kyle Tucker choose a short-term deal with the Mets over a short-term deal with the Dodgers? Is just where I'm at. Is like my only thing. Unless he's getting 70 a year, it just, if the Dodgers are in the ballpark, I would personally choose the Dodgers over the Mets. That's just where I'm at. I still say he takes the long-term deal with Toronto, but that's just because I'm a Toronto fan. The Mets, no shot at the Mets. The Mets haven't done a great job of building this team the way they are. I'm a Jays fan, don't worry. Perfect. As a Dodgers fan, I think Tucker signs with the Mets. I don't. How do you convince Kyle Tucker that you want to compete when you weren't really willing to give a competitive offer to Pete Alonso? You didn't go back. You didn't work with Edwin Diaz to get a deal. They have not addressed the rotation. It's a hard time. And the Mets could go out and get Tucker and kind of just say fuck it and go balls to the wall, and then they land Freddie Peralta or they sign Framber or Ranger Suarez or something. And in a month, we're like, you guys are fucking idiot. But what screams winning about the Mets right now? The Mets have struggled doing anything lately. Like, they've had 2 years to go out and get a dude. I got to man the rotation, and they haven't done it yet. With the richest owner, or one of the richest owners. I think he is the richest. The Mets aren't winning anything with that rotation. That's exactly what I'm saying. Even the bullpen's scary, man. Like, I like Devin Williams. I think he's going to be locked down with the Mets. So, I really like that move. But, yeah, they need a guy in the playoffs. That's where I'm at. The lineup's fine. You throw Lindor and Soto with Tucker. That's great. After that, it gets a little iffy, but whatever. I don't know. The Mets, just from an outside looking in, don't scream attractive destination right now just because of all the holes they have to fill. There's other things that I could go. But yeah, WJs, if they had Suarez or Framber address their bullpen, then Tucker could see a window. exactly. If they had a rotation piece, it would make sense. It's gonna be similar to me where the Jays were trying to get guys, and they're like, well, we're gonna get that. Like, when it was Vladdy was an extend, they're like, yeah, we're gonna get Vladdy. We're gonna get Vladdy. That means nothing until you kind of do it. So if you're Steve Cohen and you're like, we're gonna go get him then. That's what I'd be saying first. The Mets currently employ a bunch of. No, the connection there is great, but there's a good connection in Toronto too. Miles Straw was his former teammate. George Springer was his former teammate. James Click was the GM of the Astros when Tucker was there, and now he's in the Blue Jays organization. There's connections on both sides. And honestly, at the end of the day, connections isn't going to be the be-all, end-all. It's term and money is where I think Tucker's going to go for. He's just going to go for whatever can get him the most money. It's obvious the Mets are being used as leverage to up the Jays. That's where I'm at, too. I don't like leverage because he obviously does have interest in the Mets, but the Mets are probably not his top choice, or else he wouldn't have leaked that offer. I think their offer got leaked as a Toronto, up your offer, please, or Dodgers put in an offer this is where you got to be at for your short-term deal, that type of thing. So, yeah. Yeah, the connection thing really means nothing because everyone has connections everywhere as their time in baseball goes on. It's just a thing. So I don't put too much into connections with this, connections with that, just because you come across everyone by the end of your day. The Jays had former Angels players when they were recruiting Ohtani and stuff. So it's just, Vladdy and Soto were considered to be best friends. And, at the end of the day, money talks over connections. Vladdy and Bo were said to want to stay together forever, and now they're kind of going their separate ways. It's like Fast and the Furious, man. They're going. That being said, if I'm Scott Boras, I think and you see that the Mets are at 3,150, I would secretly be begging that Kyle Tucker doesn't go to the Mets so you can go with Cody Bellinger and be like, hey, we don't need 50 a year. And if they're willing to go that high on Tucker, imagine what they would do to Bregman. That's all I'm saying. Is Ohtani on a plane to try? Good one. That's funny. But that's where I'm at. I think Scott Boras is probably secretly yes, don't let the Mets, we know where the Mets are on money. Don't let them get Tucker so we can push Bellinger there to either up the Yankees offer or to just go to the Mets. One of the two. So that's where I think Scott Boras is please. And then for the Phillies, man, this has a lot of ripple effects if it comes to a head in the next 48 hours, let's say. If the Phillies don't lock down Bichette right away and Tucker doesn't come to Toronto, guess where Toronto's going right away? They're going to go to Bichette, and they'd probably have an inside lane on Bichette. So this could all be coming to a head. At least those two could be coming to a head pretty quickly. The Phillies are going to be seeing this and going, well, shit, we don't want to have to compete with Toronto if Tucker doesn't go there for Bichette. So this could be very bang, bang, and then Bellinger might be out there for a little bit. So, yeah. I think that's where we're at right now. All right, dude. We need to calm that stuff down. I feel the same way we felt with Santander last year. The fit feels great. I don't know if I'm at that same level of Tucker and Santander. They would definitely have a chance to match any Bichette offer. Yeah, the Jays on the tiebreaker on that. I don't know if I would say I feel the same. I feel confident on Tucker, but it's the fact that we don't know what Tucker wants. It was very obvious that Santander was just going to try and find the longest term deal. And that there wasn't just really anyone else in on him to the level the Jays were at. So I don't know if I'm there, but I feel pretty confident that the Jays can get this done. Like I think if we had to sit at confidence level, I would say 85 on Toronto. The Dodgers scare me more than the Mets, I would say, just because the Dodgers, the two-time World Series champs, are going to be a little bit more attractive to a free agent than the Mets would be. No shot at the Mets. There's just that. I'm referring to Bo. Yeah, the Jays definitely own the tiebreaker on Bo, but that's where we're at. I would say 93%. I like it. I'm shocked that it's taken this long to get one of these to sign. This is kind of around the time, though, that Springer signed. Didn't Springer sign on like the 19th or something? And Santander was kind of around here too. So yeah, I think we're getting close. I would be like, I think we're getting close. I think we're gonna learn. I put a tweet out earlier today, but this is how I expect it to go. So today and tomorrow, I put 24 to 48 hours. So I'm going today, tomorrow. It's just rumor filled. Like, this is what this is happening. This is who this, blah, 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 blah. And we got that with the Mets offer. The Jays have a long offer. The Dodgers are lurking, this and that. We're going to get more. I think we might even get a leak of where the Jays are at least sitting potentially, or if there's opt-outs or deferrals or whatever in these contracts tomorrow. And then I think it goes just dead silent. And that's like Kyle Tucker mulling his offers. And that would be Thursday. And then Friday he signs. That's where I think this is going to go. I think it goes until Friday. Unless today is the rumor day, tomorrow is the dead silence, and Thursday. But I think it's Thursday or Friday we probably get this done, would be my guess. And then, I mean, I think, yeah, if Bo was smart, he waits. That's exactly where I'm at. Unless, like, if Philly offers him a 10-year deal, then, like, if I'm Bo Bichette, I'd take that offer and run, because there's no way Toronto gives him a 10-year deal. So I think I would say Thursday or Friday, Tucker signs. Friday or Saturday, Bo signs. Like, it's going to be bang, bang. I doubt you'll get any leak from the Jays side. Atkins doesn't show much. Oh, I don't think it'd be the Jays leaking the Jays offer. I think it would be Tucker leaking Tucker's camp leaking the Jays offer, as if to say, here's what we have long term, and then this is what we have short term. And then we kind of know, would be where I'm at. And maybe it's a bluff to get one of the sides to go up. Who knows? I just think we might get it pretty quickly. Who knew there? Yeah, no. And there's totally that too. On him, yeah, I think Tucker. I mean, Tucker Saturday. Yeah, if it's not this week, that stinks. You know, that just sucks. If it's not this week, who knew they? No, the Jays are really good at not leaking their stuff, and clearly, I mean, Dylan Cease mentioned this during his presser, but he wanted to go to Toronto. But yeah, Philly's desperate because their offense is not as good as advertised. And it seems like JT Realmuto isn't exactly keen on coming back. Like, they've had was it Ken Rosenthal said they had an offer to him earlier? Was it like December or something, or November? And it's still there. And like, there's just nothing else from him. So, plus, if they get Bo quick, they can then flip Bohm. Bo to Bohm. Get it? Haha. They can get Bohm out of there, and if that results in getting a catcher or a pitcher or something, I don't know what the rotation looks like. I haven't really paid attention to the Phillies. I don't know if they've got a Ranger Suarez replacement or someone else in that rotation. Is Andrew Painter ready? Like, is he ready to take the reins? It could have been Tucker Tuesday. Yeah. Tucker Thursday, though. Oh, man, to be a fly on the wall and just listen to this, like, I'd love to know what everyone's, like, all parties' reactions were to, like, the leaks coming out of like, this is what this is. I prefer the dollar hot dogs. They might be $1.50 if they have to get Kyle Tucker. That's what I'm worried about. What if I don't get to keep the dollar hot dog? Yeah, Bo Bichette's the intriguing case because, like, if Bo is smart, he definitely is just sticking and waiting. Unless he gets that unbelievable offer. But I definitely think he just sticks to his guns and just kind of leaves it as it is and just waits, because that's what I would do. This is what Ben Nicholson Smith had. Concrete Kyle Tucker news broke, and a market that's remained murky finally took shape. Morosi said this was going to happen about a month ago, so it finally happened. And then, this was Robert Murray saying $50 a year on a short-term deal. Yeah, I don't know. This is where we're at. We're just kind of, it's in the waiting game now. There's Ernie Clement. Here's where the Jays, this is another reason why I think the Jays need it. I feel like we will get Tucker, and I felt the same way since like late November. The confidence level has gone up and down. I would say I was pretty confident like November, December, and then it kind of started to come down. I was like, it's so quiet on the Kyle Tucker front that it feels wrong. And then, like, especially when they met, I was like, holy shit, like maybe he's close to a deal. And then it was like, he's not. He's just doing his thing, and you're like, oh no. I think there was probably a point where I would have been like, there's no way they don't get one or the other. I do still sit on that. There was a point where I was pretty confident they could get both. Obviously, that's not the case now with Okamoto signing, but I think got to go for a couple, be back soon, see you when you get back. I do feel pretty confident that they can still get Tucker or Bo. The Tucker confidence may have dropped. Like, it might have been a 93 during December, maybe a 95. We've dropped to about an 85 now, just because it comes and goes as this goes. Mets had Seymour Wiener $1 nights in 2024, World War II vet, but unfortunately, oh yes, did they? The Jays got their Looney Dog hot dogs, and those make a freaking killing. Oh, I made some. Leaf speeding abs was a good omen. Yes. Well, and the Raps beat Philly. They beat the 76ers too, while chanting for Kyle Lowry. So they were showing the Toronto stage on all these different levels. Kyle Tucker, known Raps fan, obviously. Kyle Tucker, known golfer, will love to golf in Toronto. He can golf with the Maple Leafs. This is perfect. But looking at the Zips, there's no clear face cornerstone thing in the outfield. Varsho's there. He's obviously the strongest one. Free agent at the end of the year. Springer, free agent at the end of the year, although mainly DH. Then we're stuck with like Santander in the outfield. I mean, which is going to be either way, but it'd be less if they got Kyle Tucker. Also something you got to consider. And then Barger's probably off at third base more and into left field. Just because I don't see a world. Like, I don't think they're going to make Kyle Tucker. They're not going to give Kyle Tucker over $350 million and say, change your position. I don't see that happening. I think he's going to be the right fielder in Toronto. Maybe another thing you talk about with the Mets is is Juan Soto the right fielder? Is he going to DH for the 2 years or a year that he's there? Or are you going to make him change positions? Could be another thing. I don't know if a position change is really going to be the X factor in a deal, but I think the Jays would just move Barger to left field over Tucker, if I had to take a guess. We got legendary golf courses in New York and beaches. Yeah, but we got the Maple Leafs, I guess. Maybe he's a big Argonauts fan and no one realizes this. He's a big Canadian football fan. He loves the Argonauts. Maybe he loves poutine, Canadian poutine. World would love a trade package of Lope, Brios, and say Davis for a great bullpen arm. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see them. trading Barrios yet. I think when you got 6 starters, that works itself out pretty quickly. I personally would like to keep Loperfido, but again, if you sign Kyle Tucker, the need to keep Loperfido goes down. And then Davis, I like Davis just because it's Davis. He's fun. Has a weird routine of bathing in maple syrup. There it is. Yes, he's a maple syrup fanatic. He goes crazy for maple syrup. Maybe, was there anything that Miles Straw? What is any of those, the Miles Straw and the George Springers do? Do you think he goes to the Mets? No. I think the way the Mets have gone up as time goes on, but like if the Dodgers are lurking and can throw the same offer out as the Mets, why go to the Mets? That's where my thing is. If the Dodgers aren't even considering it, then yes, absolutely. I see the Dodgers as a threat. Yeah, I see him as the bigger threat than the Mets. If he loves real maple syrup, then the Mets are screwed. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But maybe he loves Mr. Met and Mrs. Met. Like that could be, that could be a big thing. Straw could go if Jays eat some salary. I'd almost like to keep Straw as like just a backup center fielder. You need. I think Lucas is probably the easiest of the 3 to move. Well, Loperfido is probably easiest, but yeah, did he not get offered $50 million? Yeah, he did get offered $50 million. We don't know other team offers, but we know the Jays have a long-term deal on the table. If it's a 9-year deal or a 10-year deal, I feel like that's just the safer bet to take. But I don't know. Like, it's gonna just come down to what he wants. The Jays. There's reports the Jays offered a long-term deal worth $350. Where did you see that? I didn't see that. I just know that they had offer. I understand the Dodgers argument. There's no better to win than in New York. The Mets aren't even the best team in New York. The Yankees aren't much better, but you hear the Jays. But Lucas is more valuable than Straw. Oh, I agree, but it's not an MLB the show where you can just dump the least valuable guy. That's the thing. Like these trades, you got to get rid of something to get something. It was on a report from The Athletic, I think. That might be. I'll look it up. Straw's a big clubhouse guy, so I feel like we need him. Again, backup center fielder. We saw what it does. He's a better center fielder than everyone else but Dalton Varsho. Oh yeah, no, exact. That's where I'm at, Drew Gamer. Is that like, if you are at 350, maybe you give them 25 in a signing bonus, so now you're at 375, and then the escalators can take it to 400 or over 400. I just don't know why you wouldn't take that. We got the original Straw in New York, as in strawberry. And you got really good cheesecake there too, and the pizza pretty good. Straw's contract would make him hard to move. Is Straw under 1 or 2 left? I don't know what he's at. Loving this Mr. MLB Live because he just contradicts himself in everything. It's super fun to read. So, yeah. I like the Yankees trade of Ryan Weathers here. He'll never be an ace, but he'll be good. When do you think he'll sign? I was saying Thursday or Friday. A couple of people in the chat were saying Saturday. If at this point I just want it done. Either way, I don't care. I just want it done because this is just dragged on and on and on, and it needs to end. Or deferrals to offset AAV increase. I don't know if I'd risk deferrals. I know everyone loves doing the deferral thing. I get it. I just don't know if I would risk it. Like, if that's the thing that, like, runs him out, you feel pretty shitty about yourself. Yeah. I personally I just personally think that the Jays get Tucker, but from the CBA is another thing. Unless he gets, because they'll do like the quick one, where it's like, because they'll probably have the deadline, so they'll do one or the other. But I do think it's safer to take the long-term deal this year and not have to worry about it. I think it'll come down to that. For the record, Correa and Springer signed in yeah, Springer was very late, and then Santander was late too. So that's just, I think who was it? Was it Harper signed in fucking March, didn't he, or in February? So it's some of this stuff just takes forever. I think the biggest thing is the fact that they're Bo, Bellinger, and Tucker are all represented by 3 different agents, and they're all trying to outdo each other. And that's what's taken even longer, is that they're digging down to outdo each other, and that the players are just going to be like, listen, we're done. We need to wrap this up. I need to buy a house. What about Bo? Do you think the Jays completely out on him? I don't think the Jays are out on him until Tucker signs with them. If Tucker signs with the Jays, they'll probably walk out of the Bo conversation. If Tucker doesn't, they'll just go back. Machado was February, Harper was March, right? Apparently, it's just the fans worrying about the CBA. Then the front offices. Yeah. Not a former Astro. Santander was on the 8th. Look at Santander. He was a steady hitter for 5 years, and then boom, 2025. Exactly. I mean, Tucker is a better player than Santander. Santander was kind of an obvious take a step back type of guy. Also dealt with injuries. So, but yes, a good example of why a longer term deal just makes sense. Gavin added me on Twitter. Tucker is looking for a long-term deal. The Twitter is BlueJays Domain, though, if anyone wants to just hit that a follow. So, yeah. The only thing that I don't want this to go, you think a trade may snag Dennis Santana? I'd love it. I also really like Andrew Nardi from the Marlins. Good lefty, take over for Brendan Little. I think that's a good opportunity as well. Yeah. Can't tell what Tucker would want to do. You can't tell Tucker what to do, but it's smarter to get the guarantee. Agreed. And it's who knows? Again, we don't know behind the scenes. The Jays could be mega lowballing him. I doubt it. I don't see that being the thing. Because if the Jays were mega lowballing him, they would have been. There's no way they'd still be talked about the way they are. So yeah, it's weird. I want the Jays to get any. I can't even say that guy's last name, and I don't want to mess it. Low key free agent. Yeah, was he on the Twins? I think he was. I just want Tucker to sign so we can kind of get some shit happening. I predict Kyle Tucker will sign 8 years, $400 with the Blue Jays. I don't think it'd be. That's another thing. If it's gonna hit 400, it's got to take 10 years. That's my other thing. There's no way there's no way he's hitting over 40 AAV on a long-term deal. I can see the Phillies paying Bo long-term deal because they like his game. They also want to pay a ton of AAV for a player, obviously. Yeah, no, the Phillies and Bo make a lot of sense if his time in Toronto is truly up for it. Why won't the Jays just go for Bo? Just go for Bo. Tucker's the better player. I think it's the easiest way to play it. Coulomb. Do you think there's a chance they don't get Bo or Tucker? And if so, do you think there would be a backup option? I don't know if there obviously is a chance they don't get Bo or one of those two, because you can't put a guarantee on something that hasn't happened yet. You can't guarantee that Tucker or Bo comes to Toronto when they haven't put pen to paper yet. I would say the chances of that are low. As for a backup option, I don't know. I always thought Ketel Marte could have been a backup option. I don't think that happened. Well, it obviously doesn't happen now. I don't like Bellinger. I think Bellinger ages horrifically. But Broski Bro's been with us through ups and downs. Oh, I don't disagree. And the way I put it is the better player is Kyle Tucker, but I wouldn't be upset with either or coming to Toronto, obviously, for obvious reasons. I'd love Bo Bichette. I'd welcome Bo Bichette back with everything. But if I had to choose strictly between the player, Tucker's the better player. Has a bit more of an obvious fit right now. Yeah. Backup option for the Jays. If they don't get either, I don't think there is one. I think Bregman might have been it. We don't make traditional blockbuster, unless you're talking about the Mets. I don't think the Jays have ever made a deal with the Padres. We usually swing a deal with Arizona. That's just kind of our thing. Backup, I don't know if there would be a backup option. Like, I guess Bellinger, but, like, I don't really like that. Not at the price. Not over $30 a year for 7. Fuck that. Yeah. I believe Tucker's honest when he says he wants long term. Like, the only way he's a Dodger is if Toronto's offers too much a low ball. The question is, would he say no to 340? I don't think so. Eugenio Suarez? No, because, well, where does Suarez play, Because Okamoto's going to be third base. Barger can also play third base. Springer's going to DH. Take Suarez out of that. Bellinger is the backup, I guess. Yeah, and if, like, that's the backup, like, Bregman would have been a sick backup, obviously, but he can't now because he signed. I don't know. Or a trade we don't see coming as a backup. That's probably the most logical answer, is that they whip a weird trade, or they run it as it is. Like, they still have a damn good baseball team that can win the East. Is there a world the Jays get both Bo and Tucker so they don't have to spin on a bat until 2028? Probably not. Funny how Gino had the fourth most home runs this season ever. It is funny. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's older, baseball terms. So, yeah, Carter and Alomar, remember? I do, but you can't get Carter or Alomar to come back and play at a level. Okamoto goes left field. Yeah, you could do that. I don't know. I'd rather leave Okamoto in the infield personally. It would just have to be a trade that, like, no one sees coming. But, like, with who? Like, I don't see the White Sox moving Lou Bob, and I don't see, like, it's just like that one wouldn't, that would be the only other trade where you're like, I can understand it. If you don't give up much. Other than that, like, it's just, yeah, it's not. Gino's a really good baseball player. I don't know if I would say Santander is better. They're similar baseball players in different aspects, I would say. Is Okamoto nice? He seems nice. He looked fun. Trade Nathan Lucas for a pitcher, and then Okamoto goes to left field and Suarez to third base. Where do you put Santander? Would be my question. Gosh, I would try and trade for Trevor McGill. Yeah, I like that. Jericho, he should. I also like the opportunity of whatever. I think you're the most underrated podcaster. You're agreeable and chill and interactive. Thank you. Appreciate that. Mariana. Appreciate that. Thank you. McGill's good. I like Taisei Oda. If he comes over next year, I think that's a good one. I do also just like Jeff Hoffman. Like, I think he can have a good year. Trade both Santander and Lucas for someone. You'd have to eat a ton of money, though, with Santander is the thing. Like, even with the deferrals, they'd have to take a chunk of change to get that across. Brendan Donovan, I think, is, like, the other one I really like. If they can get Brendan Donovan, I like that too. But, like, are you going to knock the ABs away from Ernie Clement? I don't know. So chances are Tucker's going off books before Bo. That would be my guess. Kaz, is that, yeah, he would probably go. It makes the most sense for Bo to just wait. Because if the Jays miss, then the Jays are automatically a lot more aggressive on you. Hands off McGill, the Mets are getting him. Hey, the Mets need a starter. If you're going to Milwaukee, you better be trying to get Freddie Peralta too. Keep him out of the East, man, because I'm scared Baltimore is going to make that trade or something. I feel the Jays should, like the Jays offseason is Ricky. Cody Ponce could be a dude, and so is Okamoto. Yeah. Ponce could be a dude. Like, Ponce isn't going to be more than a 3, I would say. I saw a clip of Okamoto speaking to Roki. Your pitch is so easy to hit. That's what we need. Dude, he's got insider information. We would have won the World Series with him. Mets should be trying to get Framber more than Tucker. I agree. Mets should be trying to get Framber and Ranger Suarez at the same time. Go get the 2 of those, because I'd say the Braves are the class of the NL East without injuries, obviously, and then it's the Phillies, and then there's the Mets. But the Mets and Marlins, I think, are pretty close, because I think the Marlins pitching outduels the Mets pitching any day of the week. But I do like the Mets' young arms, like Jonah Tong, Brendan Sproat. I like both those guys. Nobody's taking... Yeah, that's why I'd rather just keep Santander. Either he rocks this year, and you're like, shit, here we go. We got another really good bat in the lineup. Or he stinks, and you just sink the money, and you tell him you're not going to put that 6th year in, and then he maybe opts out. I don't know. Surely Santander gets at least 30 bombs this year in a healthy season, right? One would think. Rogers Center, I think, plays well to him. And if he bats 7th, like batting 7th is going to be really good for him this year, because he's not going to have to be the dude, you know? So that helps. Mets don't need Framber and Ranger since they have good young pitching, just no number 1. Yeah, I don't fully, I'm not 100% sure of everyone who's in the Mets rotation, but I think at least one of Framber or Ranger, if not, maybe it's a Framber and then like a trade for a number 3. The AL East is going to be a wild division. Oh, yeah. The AL East could have 490 win teams again this year. Yay. Literally, they could have 5 teams above 500 this year. So I meant to say both players could be really bad because they're coming from different leagues. I spelled that wrong. Where did you say that? Oh, Rocky. Yeah. He won't be a J. You don't know that. He could be a J. Maybe he's a real bird guy. You don't know that. As long as he doesn't post a fucking Instagram post with the Dodgers logo that says, I'm taking my talents to LA, I'm okay. Nolan McLean. Yes, I forgot about McLean too. He's really good. Imagine telling a Jays fan in 2023, we get 48 bomb, Santander batting 7th lineup in the 2020 thing. Well, imagine telling a 2024 Blue Jays fan that the next season they'd be playing in the World Series without any significant additions to the lineup. Like, what? I fear the Orioles more than any other in the East. If the Orioles get an ace, I fear them the most. But yeah, I compare the Tucker sweepstakes with Ohtani, because when the offseason started, everyone said Ohtani to the Dodgers. Then Toronto tried to get him, and Ohtani went to the most obvious team. I could see that, yeah. I like that. Does that mean we're going to get Tucker on the plane to like the Mets or the Dodgers or something? Because that would be fun. I would love that. I don't know who I fear the most in the AL East outside of the Jays. Like, if you're as a Jays fan perspective, I think the Yankees are always just going to be there. Boston's got a really good rotation, but like, I don't know. If Boston can get another bat, yeah. I don't know. I need to see something more from Baltimore in the pitching side. I don't know if you can hit 40 bombs again. Honestly, if Santander hits 25 bombs, we're chilling. Like, when we're talking about Santander, he is so far down in the lineup, he's an afterthought really for anyone. The Yankee season will depend on how good Cole can be. Yeah, no, I think it's going to have a little bit more to do than that. A lot of it's going to, you got to look at Trent Grisham. Like, he's a big factor of that offense, whether they like that or not. Jason Dominguez getting regular playing time. And then their bullpen. Their bullpens, you got to look at the bullpen. It's just, I do think their bullpen could be fine, but there's things, you know. The Yankees beat the Yankees, and the other teams know how to get the Yankees to beat the Yankees. I don't think Garrett Cole is the X factor of the Yankees season, I would say. Because even without Garrett Cole, they have a really good rotation. The Jays should have won the World. Yep. No, I know they should have won the World Series. We've been on the up and down every day since Game 7, and I will never emotionally accept what happened. If the Yankees don't get a bet, I can see Boston and Baltimore being ahead of them. Oh, yeah, I can definitely, like, right now, as it stands, they're at least a third-place team. They could be fourth place. And, God damn it, it's the Rays, too. The Rays can pull some weird devil shit that, like, leads to them being really good. There's never a guarantee in the AL East. I don't know why the Blue Jays are not signing Bo instead of Tucker, who's getting $50 million from the Mets. Tucker's the better player. He profiles out a little bit better than Bo does. A little bit more dimensional. Like, he can swipe bags, hit homers, and play all right defense, whereas Bo's got really good contact, can hit some bombs, will not be able to swipe you a bag, and is now moving to second base because his defense wasn't to where it should have been as a shortstop. Again, no disrespect to Bo, because I'll be just as happy if Bo signs. And just Kyle Tucker's the better player. If you're spending that much money and the luxury tax isn't an issue, which fucking clearly it isn't, just go for everyone. Bo's leg's very questionable. Agreed. There was a new rule where all teams will have to the same development technology, which I like that. Anything to nerf the Rays, because god damn it, they do everything right. Yeah. Honestly, I think everyone could have the same technology and the Rays could still make everyone better because they're just the Rays. It's unbelievable. I can't get over how always good they are, even when you think they're bad. Why are they always good? Why can't the Yankees and the Rays both have a bad season together? It's just, it's never easy. It's never easy as a Jays fan. We never get both. Well, the Trop sucks and is very pitching friendly. Yes, this is true. I hope they get I hope their new stadium's nicer, aesthetically pleasing. You know, I want to be able to like looking at the stadium. I'm not excited to watch games in the Trop this year on TV. I'm not excited. Bro, I could get drafted to the Rays and then someone, dude, I think they could draft Toddler and make him good in 3 years. Like, it's weird. I had to go for a second. I'm back. Welcome back. Rays somehow bring nobodies. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Any updates that I missed? No, it's quiet. All quiet on the Western Front. Maybe it's the 24-hour lull before he signs on Thursday. One can hope. Or late Wednesday. My fear is he signs at the most, like, inopportune time at, like, 3 a.m, and no one's going to be live to talk about it. Yeah, Yankees, unfortunately, always have a winning record. But, like, their winning record years are different than other teams' winning record years. You know, a Yankees 83-win team is equivalent to, like, a 70-win team anywhere else, is how I look at it. I don't think we're not disagreeing that Bo is a bad player. Tucker's just, if Bo's here, Tucker's here. You know, that's just where it is. Not a disrespect to that, but yeah, a Jays-Dodgers rematch would feed families. A Jays-Dodgers rematch, if the Jays get Tucker, would be Whew, insane. Rays can make Lovelady into an ace. Oh, yeah. Like, the fact that they couldn't turn Shane Baz into, like, an reliable ace was kind of mind-boggling. I couldn't believe that. I thought for sure. Like, they made Glasnow fantastic. They got Glasnow $150 million. It's just, yeah. They're really good at everything, and it's really annoying, and it really sucks. Like, just once can they be bad? Because even when they're bad, they still cause fits for the Jays, and it's so annoying. Like, their 60-win teams could beat a Jays 80 or like a 95-win team. There's no game I feel comfortable with when the Jays play them. I don't know. I don't really look at average too much as the be all end all. So there's OPS and slug, but OPS plus definitely helps. Just tells you where they stack up against other players in the league. Tucker was a broken hand he played with most of the year or something, like during the summer months. Like, he was on pace for, I think it was 40 homers before he got hurt. Yeah, that's also another thing. Bo asking 300 is fucking crazy. If he gets even close to 300 from the Phillies, take it. Trying to possibly start a Jays podcast as a 12-year-old. Any tips? Know your stuff would be the main thing, but just talk, have fun, be personable. Just be yourself. If you're not acting, it'll help. So I say just be yourself, know your things, and don't be afraid. Just go out there and start talking your shit. Don't worry about length or anything, or quantity. Worry about quality. One good podcast will do you better than 7 below average podcasts. It would be my tip. Tucker's first Instagram post was him and Straw in 2019. I think was Straw Tucker's best man at the wedding? Not saying connections matter. Bo was asking for $300 million for, I don't know if it's for 14 years, but Bo's not going to age well in a 14-year deal. Bo isn't really going to age well in a 10-year deal. Like, I was throwing 8-2-10 at him, and I thought that was a more than reasonable offer for him. As much as I'd love to see those two together for the rest of their career, gun to the head, but choosing between Tucker and Bo, I'm choosing Tucker. Put a statue up if Straw is a reason we get Tucker. Oh, agreed. Bo is not going to be good for 14 yet. You're welcome. Yeah, Bo with 300 for 14 is, oof. Like, if Bo signed 8-year deal right now with the Jays, I would not complain. I mean, it would suck a little bit because it would mean no Tucker, but I'd be more than happy with getting Bo Bichette back. Yankees rotation following the trade for Ryan Weathers is Fried, Schlittler, Warren, Heel, Weathers with Yarbrough, Blackburn, and Elmer, and then you got to throw Garrett in there. Although I think Cole's not going to be in until about May. Still a good rotation. Realistically, I can't see Bo lasting past 7 years. Yeah, and like he put on a lot of weight. I hear like muscle or whatever it was, and like that's gonna like one of the things he had was that he was speedy and agile, and he got rid of that, bulking up to stay healthy, and he still got hurt. So Bo's bat to ball skills cannot be denied. Like, that'll age really well, but everything else are Cole and Rodon are out for around 1 month. Yeah, so you put Cole in over Warren, and then you throw you throw Rodon in there. Will Warren on the 3 spot is crazy. It is. I honestly, if I was the Yankees with all the injuries they've had, I would probably run a 6-man rotation once those two come back. Bo's speed is almost comparable to Kirk's. That's crazy. That's crazy. I do want to see. I wanted to see Kirk versus Ty France in a foot race, because I think that'd be very comparable. But Over Stanton, who wins in a foot race. I think that would feed families. Also, shout out Earn Dog, Ernie Clement, Team USA. Almost going to make me want to see how the Americans do. I think we'll only personally cheer for Ernie Clement, and that is it. Oh my God. Why, dude? Can we end the at Grok explain this stuff to me? This is. We need to get rid of this at Grok bullshit. This stinks. Based on offers, Kyle Tucker will sign a short-term deal with the Toronto Blue Jays. Oh, that's a long-term deal. I can't read. Again, get rid of Grok. Yeah. I want to know what the Jays are offering. Team USA stacking up good players this year. I was watching highlights because I was getting Okamoto stuff. And I was watching highlights from the WBC, and they were rolling out Kyle Freeland in the final against Japan. Now they got Paul Skeens and Tariq Skubal. That's crazy. They had Kyle frickin' Freeland. I don't think Kyle Freeland's in the major leagues anymore. I wait for the day Crookie arrives at spring training looking like Altuve. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, man. That's asking for a lot. This is asking for a lot. Top three will definitely be USA, Japan, Dominican. Yeah. The WBC is going to feed families this year, man. Like, the Dominican's going to be really good. I feel like Puerto Rico's always good. Mexico's always got a really good team. Even Canada could have a decent team. Not like a team that wins, but like a team that, like, could make it out of their pool. But USA, Japan, Dominican are going to be... Whew. You get a final between two of those teams... That's good. I have to go tonight because I have school tomorrow. Super champ, and I'm only 12. And it's all good. Thanks again for the tip and hard work. See you next time. Hopefully we're live soon this week because it means Kyle Tucker signs. We will go live when Tucker signs, no matter what happens, whether it's Jays or not Jays. Hopefully it's Jays. Can't wait to be in the Skubal sweepstakes and wait until February for him to sign a $500 million contract. I don't even know if they get into the Skubal sweepstakes. Genuinely. Depends on what the CBA is like and everything. I still can't believe Detroit hasn't extended him. Like, are you kidding me? That's a generational pitcher, and you're going to penny pinch him? That's a team. The Mets. Where's the Mets guy? Come back, Mets guy. Mets get Skubal. That's the one I can see happening. I still understand the Jays offered him $350, and he's still waiting. Well, he's trying to bump up that money even more. If a team's offering you $350 before final offer, they're probably willing to go up to $370, and he's probably trying to get as close to $400. So that's where it is. They're just trying to squeeze every single penny out of any person. Skubal, Boros, I predict Jays in seriously on Skubal in 27. I mean, I can see him be in on it. They'll obviously check in because it's the best pitcher in baseball. Maybe it's just because I've never seen the Jays like they are right now. And I remember the times when we were like penny pinching on everyone and like grabbing Jaime Garcia and J.A. Happ and like trading for starters instead of signing them. I don't see them handing out, if they get Tucker, I don't see them having 500 to Vladdy, 4 to 5 for Skubal, 300 to 400 on Tucker, and 210 on Cease. That's a lot of money. Plus, you need to extend Varsho. And that's a lot of money. I don't see them financially being able to make that work if a CBA salary cap or harder penalties come. They also have penny pinch, and Boris doesn't sign it. This is true. They might have good prospects they might want to develop. Any trade will include a Savage plus. This is true, although it's Skubal. They also have room with over 100. They'll have room, but you got to sign Varsho back. They'll have to add to the bullpen. You need, like you mentioned, 3 starters are coming off. Well, 2 starters are for sure coming off the books. So you have 1 or 2 spots to fill up. Plus, they'll probably want to dip under this highest CBT. I could see just because of how close they are. So it'll depend. I think we're kind of seeing the limits to where the Jays are willing to go. To me, Screwball is in that highest level where it's like, yeah. Also, no guarantee Barrios opts out. If the Jays get Tucker, I can see them passing up on Varsho, unfortunately. I can too. I do. Especially if they keep Loperfido. And like maybe they try and get Loperfido to figure out center field. But I think they'll try and keep in on Varsho as possible. Gage Stanifer coming up and Johnny Quinn. I think Gage Stanifer gets traded. Unless he takes a ridiculous step, which he could, but I could see him being traded. I like Johnny King. Both are really good prospects. I would not trade Savage Squall. They don't know. Trade could become the Jays don't. This is true. No, their good prospects are JoJo Parker and Arjun Namala, and that's the infield. They got a lot of infield. Yeah, I'd love to see him keep Varsho. We'll see. But Screwball, I don't see. Mets feel like a Screwball team. The Dodgers are going to feel like a Screwball team. The Mariners, low-key. I mean, I get the financial pay is a lot, but like just the area and everything, it could make sense. I like Screwball there. Screwball gets traded at the deadline. I could see that, especially if Detroit's not winning. That makes sense. Any word on what the Jays offered Tucker? No. And that's the craziest part. I mean, the Jays are pretty tight-lipped. I thought Tucker's camp would have leaked that. Maybe that's tomorrow. All we know is the Jays have a long-term deal on. I'd guess it's anywhere between 8 to 10 years over $350, if it's 10. Jays have Santander, Lucas, Schneider, Varsho, Okamoto, and Barge, who can all play outfield as well. They can play outfield, but like Okamoto's not going to play center field. Barger definitely can't play center field. Schneider can't play center field. Lucas, you could argue it, but he might get traded. Loperfido could. That's where I would maybe be looking at Loperfido as like hey, try center field. How long term? $350 million apparently. I would say 10 years. I think 10 years. Just it makes sense. Get him to he's 39 or something like that. I think yeah. Maybe that's what he's trying to squeeze. Maybe he's trying to squeeze an extra year out of the Jays. I don't know. I would say 10-3, 370 is probably the final number the Jays go to. Yeah. Tucker could as well if they get him. Yeah, Tucker can play center field. I think I'd like him more in right field over center field. Miles Straw's bat isn't there, but like the glove is center field. I think once you get Tucker, you gotta get Varsho figured out. Because Springer money could just become Varsho money. Because Springer's getting, $25 a year? So Springer money goes to Varsho. And then maybe you move Gosman onto like a 3-year deal. And you tell Shane Bieber to adios. I don't know. Depends. Shane Bieber scares me because what if he's hurt? Because we've heard stuff that he might not be the healthiest of humans pitching-wise. But maybe that's changed because he's going to get a full year. Or a full offseason, I should say. I don't know why Tucker would choose the Mets over the Dodgers or Jays, to be honest. Mets would have to offer significantly better than both and have multiple opt-outs even and then. Yeah. This person gets it. They understand it. Clase can play center field. Clase's bat sucks, though. Yes, this is also true. I kind of forgot about Clase, I'm not going to lie. Dude came up for one of the best hits for the most important hit of his career against Helsley and then disappeared again. Kind of crazy that the Blue Jays coming off a pennant, pony up for Cease, offer each contract to Tucker. Yankees, meanwhile, trade 4 players for a pitcher who can't stay healthy. I think it's also pretty telling that the Jays have gone out and spent at record-setting levels after coming off a World Series, and the Yankees did not. Clase's bat is the same as Straw's, just on the left side. Clase has more pop than Straw. But yes, similar, yeah. Nothing on Kyle Tucker. Definitely was hoping we'd see something like a John Morosi. Like, I feel like Morosi's been pretty quiet. I get it that like this is what he does. I don't expect Passan to be doing something like this. Only offer that was leaked was the Mets. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I think we're getting used once again. Yeah, like I'm looking at the Mets as they're this feels very much like not a leverage play, but like this is where you need to be like up your offer, please, type of thing. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The Tucker contract's just going to be so intriguing. Is Luis Arraez good? No. God, no. Well, you don't know where the leak came from, the Mets. Well, my guess is it came from Tucker's camp because the Mets are really tight-lipped stuff. So I would say Tucker's camp probably leaked it. And that was like their final offers. Here's what the Mets are offering. Give us your best one. Luis Arraez is interesting because I've also heard nothing about him. I thought he'd definitely have a contract by now. I thought Cleveland. I don't know why. He just kind of screams Guardian. Yeah. We're going to see the rest of the market move once Tucker goes off. Like, once Tucker goes, everyone's going to have a better understanding of Bo and Bellinger and then, like, the level underneath that. What shocked me is the lack of starting pitching movement. So there's that. Like, I thought Bassett would have a deal. I didn't expect Scherzer or Verlander to, but, like, I feel like it's been just quiet everywhere. If it's from Tucker's camp, the Mets are probably being used. Yeah. Something tells me the Mets didn't actually offer $50 million. I feel like they are. I feel like they would. Arraez has no pop. Can't play defense. All he does is just slap singles around. I don't really like Arraez, personally. I wouldn't have him. Don't put Bo and Arraez in the same sentence. Yes. Thank you, Tango. Yeah, I would say that Tucker's camp probably leaked it. It might not be a complete leverage play. Like, he's got to at least be considering the Mets. But, like, if you're the Mets and you see that offer went out and your camp, you guys didn't leak it, I'd be going, oh, shit, no. That's not good. And I'd probably start looking elsewhere, too, at the same time. Going to be interesting to see. Everything at the end of the day is just going to be interesting to see how this plays out. If it's short term, I'm intrigued to see opt-outs, deferrals, bonuses, everything. If it's long term, I'm excited to see money and all that stuff. So it'll just be intriguing to see. Kyle Tucker's going to be a Blue Jay. All the talks with the Mets. Mets are 100% being used as leverage. 100% agree, Gavin. Don't you think that if the Mets offered $50 million, he would like insta sign? No, because if he does want long term, then there's that. There's more to that than just that. The Blue Jays need Tucker more than any other team, and it's not close. They may lose Bichette, Scherzer, Bassett, Dominguez, France, and possibly lose. I think we're going a little over dramatic there. Why not? Next year's free agent class is very weak. Signs of $50 million. I'm enjoying all the Mets fans on Twitter that are convinced a short-term deal will lead to an automatic $400 million deal for Kyle Tucker next year. Not how that works. But I will say some of them are pretty funny. If Mercy says that Tucker's on a plane to Toronto, I'm confident. No, if that's the case, he's going to the Dodgers. Like, history would just repeat itself. It'll be we need what's another good one that can go over? It'll be like Miles Straw flying out. It'll be like, I'm sorry guys, didn't mean it. Yeah. Like if you're given a short-term deal and Tucker signs it, it's got to have opt-outs. There's no way he signs straight, like a straight 3-year deal. That would be the dumbest decision ever. You got to have opt-outs in there. And now when you look at opt-outs, I think it probably knocks. Say he signs and opts out at the end of the season, like at the end of the 2026 season, and goes on. Then yeah, it's weak offensively. There's not really a good bat in there. The pitching side's really good. Tucker's Instagram, yeah. He is 5. His market won't skyrocket. Exactly. Also, he'll be older. Like if he can't get $400 million at 28, turning 29, he's not going to be able to get 400 at 29, turning 30. Teams will probably. His best chance to get 400 is right now, and that's through a 10-year deal. If he signs a 3-year deal with the Dodgers or the Mets and then opts out at the end of the 2026 season, the max he gets is 8. Like his length will drop 2 years. Is just how it's gonna go. If Jay signed Tucker, who's DFA'd/traded, no room on the 40-man. Well, they can just DFA some random dude, not have to worry about it right away. But I would expect one of Lucas, Loperfido. Lucas or Loperfido feel like the 2 easiest to move. Controllable, have had success at the major league level. Loperfido's younger and can play a few more positions. Lucas is he's just a really good hitter. He's one of them slap hitters, I like to call it. He just slaps the ball around. But one of those 2 probably get moved. I don't think Barger gets moved. I saw a lot of that. It's ridiculous. I don't think Schneider moves, personally. But it'll be one of the outfielders for sure. Okay, Kyle Tucker. Here we go. Schneider's. Well, I don't think Schneider gets traded. I think Loperfido will be traded. I would say he probably does have more value. I don't think Schneider gets traded. I just personally, I don't. Please take note. I like that. Schneider's probably the perfect bench bat. He ain't moving. Yeah, I would agree with that. Also, the Mets giving $101 million a year to 2 bats and then not being able to get a real starter is hilarious if that's the case. Snyder plays 2 positions. He ain't moving. He also has AAA options. Yeah. Ex-free agent bats are Springer, Grisham, Torres, a few others. The offensive side, I mean, Varsho's going to be in there too, technically. The offensive side, it's not great. Pitching is great. Like, the pitching next year is fantastic. It's going to be headlined by Skubal. Freddie Peralta is going to be in there. Sandy Alcantara will be in there. Shane Bieber will be in there again. Pitching-wise, it's great. If Tucker was a free agent last offseason, we could have 400. Oh, easily. Yeah. Even at the age he's at this year. Yeah, Lucas is just at his age and with this season probably going to be the prime candidate to get traded. He'll probably be the one the Jays look to move the most, but Loperfido might be the easiest one to move because of his age. Opinion, if the Mets are really all in on Tyler Tucker, there's 0 excuses. Not get him. I don't want to hear they were outbid by another team. All right. Is this the Giraffe Neck Mark one? The Mets cast? Also, there might be Burns and King, Robbie Ray. I don't think Burns opts out. I think that'd be a pretty ridiculous thing for him to do. Michael King, Robbie Ray he could be in there. Gosman's in there too. Imagine telling Jays fans that they're going to be front runners for Kyle Tucker. It's crazy, man. I think if you told the 2024 Jays fan what was going to happen in the next 12 months, they would not believe you. Because I barely believe what's happened in the last year. Who else would be in that? That's kind of like where I'm at for that starting pitching. Pitching-wise, it's going to be really good. Offensive, not so much. Dodgers being the Kyle Tucker offer that hasn't leaked is very interesting for a number of reasons. Dodgers don't really leak that much. I would love to know what the Jays offer is. Assuming all 6 starters are healthy, do you really think Brios moves to the pen? I don't know if it's a move to the pen. I think they're just going to be able to skip guys' starts. Like, they'll probably innings limit Savage a little bit. They'll probably innings limit a bit Bieber. Brios will probably see a little bit less. Cody Ponce will be throwing 200 innings too. Like, Cease and Gosman will go, and then they'll move around Savage, Barrios, Bieber, and Ponce to keep everyone's healthy so that they can do like what the Dodgers did and have 2 really freaking good starters in the bullpen and just be able to run dudes. That way you can have a guy do what Yamamoto did with availability. Not obviously saying that they'll be exactly the same performance-wise, but I think all 6 guys will start. I even think Eric Lauer will probably start a game or 2 throughout the season, just based off of injuries and stuff and skipping guys' starts. It makes sense. This contract leave is such a Jays up the offer. It really is to press Flames fan. It's very much a just, we like where you're at, but could you give us a little bit more? Going from 74 to 94 in the game 7. Agreed. When do you think Kyle Tucker signs? And it is this week, I would say. I've been saying Friday, Saturday. Brios, I believe, is going to be great this season, but if he even... Honestly, if Brios is at a point where he can opt out, see ya. Honestly, like, adios, goodbye. I love him. I think he's a fantastic pitcher. But if he can opt out and go get money elsewhere, see ya. That's crazy to realize that Gosman's not had an opening day. He'll get it this year. I'd be shocked if they give it to Dylan Cease over Gosman. Not saying Gosman's a bad thing. There's a Tucker Instagram related post that Jay's offering 9 years for $360. Was that? Did you say? Is this a Bjarger bomb or whatever? Oh, because I love how always incorrect that guy is. Where did you see this Instagram post? Because if it's true, that's fun. Philly should be praying Kyle Tucker's deal falls to the Blue Jays almost as much as Toronto. Might as well consider Bo Bichette part of the lineup. The Jays. Yeah, I would agree. I feel like opening day, I think it's going to be Gosman. I think, well, the rotation should line up Gosman, Cease, Trey, Bieber, and then whoever it is between Ponce and Barrios. I could see them lining it up, Goss, Cease, Bieber, Trey, just to ease how much Trey works this year, given the fact that he's coming off a career-high injury. Or not injury, career-high innings and everything. It just makes sense to kind of ease him in a bit, unless Goss gets it. Yeah. When will Bo Bichette? Is it this week or next week? Probably next week. I don't know. It kind of depends on Tucker. Like, if Tucker signs in the next day or 2, Bo could. But I think Bo waits until after Tucker signs. Once Tucker signs, I would say in the next, 3 days, Bo would sign. It'd be very bang, bang, would be my opinion. Mets offer the 50. Yeah, we know that. Hoping that Tucker does sign for $350. It's not something crazy. Tiedeman's going to be good to go as well. I also think Tiedemann could rock the bullpen. So, yeah. I think no matter the number for Kyle Tucker, people are just going to say it's crazy. And I must say I'm not prepared for if Tucker signs somewhere else for the fans to say, the fans who were like, if Tucker wanted to be a Blue Jay, he'd already be here. They're going to be like, wow. See, he never really wanted to come here. Jays were leverage. And if the Jays sign him, overpay. The Jays got fleeced. I can't believe they messed this up. Blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. It's going to suck either way for some people, man. I fully see Ricky T being a future closer. Yeah, closer setup guy, one of those two. I don't know if he's going to be a starter. Imagine Tucker signs on the 17th, his birthday. Is his birthday on the 17th? That's sick. I would assume it's before that then. I didn't realize his birthday was Saturday. I doubt he would sign on his birthday. Hell of a birthday present, though, hey? Like, here's $400 million. Happy birthday. Okay, so either Thursday, Friday, or Sunday. What will the Boba contract look like? I have no idea. I thought 8-2-10 was pretty good, but if Philly's offering, man, that shit could be 10-300 or 11-300. Who knows? I don't think he's going to get 300, but that's where I'm at. Recently, Bo gets at most 2 for 25. I agree. I don't like Hoffman as a closer. Give that job to Violent. I think I don't know. I still have faith in Hoffman. He was still thought a really good deal or year. Just trouble with the home runs, but I don't think that's an every year thing for him personally. But I don't know. I could be mistaken. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Can I do polls in here? How do I do that? Hoffman should have a bounce back year. Yeah. I agree. I would say yes to that. How does one do a poll? If Phillies get Bo, I don't even know. Bohm could move anywhere. I like Seattle. I could see the Mets. There are a lot of places he could go. Anywhere who needs a third base really would need him. Boston. Yeah. I feel like everyone forgets about we signed Rogers. Rogers is fantastic. I love Tyler Rogers. We're going to go Yasavage to Rogers one game, and it's going to fuck with everyone because it's going to be Yasavage up here, and then Rogers is going to be like underneath. Prediction on Tucker offer from Jays. I say it's 10-350 right now, and when it signs, he'll be 10-370. So how to pull these. Possible on the pitching machines. No, they aren't. I think Tucker signs is down to the Mets of Toronto. I think it's Toronto, personally. Oh, we got we got a new one. We got some new news. The Dodgers have met with Kyle Tucker. They continue to be interested in a shorter term high AAV. That's where they're at. Savage to Rogers to Varland is nasty. Oh, agreed. I wonder how much what it looks like in the end. You know, Darth Ponce will surprise some teams this year. I agree. Ponce is going to be really good. It's crazy how spring training is in like It's crazy. I mean, that's what happens when you go to the World Series. Everything comes back so quickly. You're like, what's going on? How is this happening? Come on. Yep. There we go. Not now. Okay, does this... Skip. Okay. Do I have a chat now? Dodgers fans are probably a little nervous if we do sign Tucker. Probably, especially the AL East. What will happen if the Dodgers get Tucker or Bo? I think no team... Oh, if that happens, the MLBs, we're all screwed. All right, here we go. Engage with my audience. Start a poll. Okay, we're throwing a poll out here. Yes. No. We're going to throw a poll out here if we want a Kyle Tucker live stream tomorrow if more information drops. Poll is out there. Poll's out there. It's crazy time. Took forever to get. I hope he's signing with the Jays. So do I. So do I, Jesse. Ross, buddy, he's right there. Scorched earth. Why are we saying this, Josh? Oof. Top tier follow, by the way. I don't think Cody gets a better deal than what the Yankees are offering. Oh, no way he does. Actually, negative chance he does. He's right there. Scorched earth off season 26. All right. Yeah, no one wants him on the long term deal. Ross, buddy, go do it. Get it done, fella. Do you think a fallback option is real? A fallback option is Bellinger and Bo. I think the fallback option is just Bo. And if there isn't Bo, like I don't see them going for Bellinger. I think anything Bellinger related is just Scott Boras being Scott Boras, trying to get the Yankees to up an offer. That's about it. I don't think Bellinger comes to Toronto. At least I hope not. Like, I really hope not. Mets will pivot to Belly once Tucker signs with Jays. Exactly. Yeah. We got 38 people in here. Shout out to everyone in here. That's my Twitter, BlueJays Domain. Give it a follow. And also subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel. I would appreciate it. We're trying to now hit 700. Be pretty awesome. And if you know Jays fans who also just like doing this stuff, share my channel with them, you know. Share the love. Also, hit the poll. Do you want to live stream tomorrow if there's more Kyle Tucker news? So yeah, I did not see Bregman going to the Cubs. I thought it was Boston. Like, I definitely thought he was just Boston or nowhere. Seems like Boston kind of shot themselves in the foot, so good on Boston, I guess. Do you think Bo wants opt-outs if he wants to go to the Phillies? I don't think he's going to do opt-outs. I think it's just straight deal. Probably no move clause as well. No opt-outs. He's just there. Orioles are still paying Chris Davis for 12 more years. No way. Are they actually? I knew the deal was bad. But it's that bad? Good. Good. Make them suffer. Hopefully that's the reason they can't do anything else. It won't be, but hopefully. I don't think there's going to be anything else, guys. Do you think the Blue Jays pivot to Bellinger if Tucker goes elsewhere? No. I feel Boston will make the postseason. Depends on if Boston gets a bat. If Boston can get a bat, they definitely can make it. They can make moves. If Boston gets one more big bat, there might be a better team than the Yankees. With Toronto, trade a starting pitcher before the season? No. Keep the starting pitching. That type of stuff usually works itself out in spring training. Usually. I'd rather keep the sixth guy and not have to use him as much than not have him and then have to rely on like Bowden Francis. Personally speaking. All right, seems like everyone wants a stream tomorrow if we get more Tucker news. I would assume we do. So we'll do more Kyle Tucker stuff, obviously. Yeah. What else is out there for relievers, really? I think the reliever market's kind of done besides Dominguez, hey? I don't know what else will be out there. Oh, and shit, we got Jimmy Garcia coming back this year, too, to the bullpen, which I kind of forgot about. Retired in 2021, amounting to $42 million in deferred paid installments, including 9.16 from 2023 to 2025, 3.5 from 26 to 32, and 1. Fuck me. That's for Chris Davis. That's crazy. 2037, hey? Vladdy would have like a year or two left on his contract. That's crazy. And the Orioles still won't have a playoff win by that time. That's ridiculous. I like this tweet. We like to see this. Blue Jays have made a long-term offer to Kyle Tucker. We like that. Wanted to say aggressive next. Actually, I don't really know if I want him to say anything. I think the quieter, the better. You know? It's crazy that Vladdy is signed till he's 40. It is, but it needed to happen. We got to keep that. I love that. I love it too. We all love it. I hope that at my age, if they win a World Series, it doesn't matter what Vladdy's contract looks like when he's 40. All contracts age badly come the end of it. I hope Pete Alonso's contract turns out horribly for Baltimore. Not because I don't like Pete Alonso. It's because I don't like Baltimore. Two short-term IAVs versus one long term, less AAV, more guaranteed money. The ball's now in Kyle Tucker's court. I would agree with you, Damon. Will JT have to retire or sit out to start the year if he's not signed back with the Phillies? I like Pittsburgh for Real Muto, low key. JT Real Muto catching Paul Skeens, Jarrett Jones, Mitch Keller, Bubba Chandler. Yes, please. Come on now. We are in the end game. I hope Kyle Tucker signs in a reasonable time tomorrow. Mouse. Come on, Kyle Tucker. Don't forget Judge is 33 and turning 34 in April. He might start to regress too. I did see a video on TikTok about how age might start to catch up to him. We might see the Yankees window not slam shut, but like quickly close. And I like that too. That's why I'm not. That's why I'm really shocked the Yankees aren't in on Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker screams Yankee, and he's like, they don't even want to entertain it. That's crazy in my opinion. But I mean, hey, it helps us. That's good. Or a good sign, Tucker's fiance just posted New York, New York. What? What does that even mean? Oh, not a good sign. Meh. I gotta scroll all the way down. Holy shit. Yankees are cheap. Now I'm thinking Tucker not to the Mets because of the short-term offer. If the Mets go long-term, it's easy. Yankees finally becoming a small market team. We love that. That sucks. It's gonna suck he goes there. Where do you see that she posted New York, New York, you guys? I don't know. If the Mets go long term, they go long term. Tony Havoc's going through it right now. I was just on her Instagram. It didn't show anything. I have it on good authority from a source that the number one free agent of this Major League free agent class will in fact be signing his new MLB contract. MAJ has it. I do have Kyle Tucker Instagram notifications put on because, yeah. You must be new here. That's Kyle Tucker. What? Oh. Come on, Tucker. You know what you want to do. Kyle Tucker, you know you want to go. I love these. I'm so glad these are back. My favorite thing about the MLB offseason is the accounts that are like, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, that have no sources. I love that. Pop can save the franchise? Absolutely. I think Toronto will get Tucker. If not him, Bo could go back there. 100% agree. I think it's Tucker or Bo. Hit enter. And what are we saying? Nothing. Love that. Love that indeed. Sweet. Or stealing Belly from the Yanks. I don't think we're stealing Belly from the Yanks. Personally, I don't see that one happening. I'm not high on Bellinger. I liked Bellinger on like the 1 year bounce back thing or like the 2 year deal or whatever. Anything more on Bellinger is scary. It was cool in 2019 when he was good. Tucker will sign. Oh, I know. That's why I'm staying on so long, because I know I'm gonna hit stop and get some major news. We'll give it 15 minutes or something like that. We'll hit 2 hours on the stream, and then we'll probably call her. But I do know I'm gonna like stop this, and then yeah, it's gonna be like Kyle Tucker's in advanced talks with blah blah blah. And see it happening already. There's just I need Kyle Tucker news. I'm addicted. I am addicted to Kyle Tucker news. Positive Kyle Tucker news, I should say. What I don't like is bad Kyle Tucker news. Bad Kyle Tucker news is not fun for anyone. Oh yeah, Dylan Cease was a top 100 player. Shout out Dylan Cease. Mike Trout at 82 is ridiculous, let me just say. That's crazy. Mike Trout at 82? Are you kidding me? Mike Trout at 82 years old would still be better than 82 baseball players. Long term versus short term is just what it seems. Who even is this? I've seen enough. Trade for Mike Trout. Yes! I agree. Let's go crazy. Let's go get Jonathan Aranda. Kaufman getting new dimensions crazy. If I was Tucker, I'd pick the Jays. I would too. I would just pick the long-term deal if I was Tucker. Huh. They're legit AL. I would agree with this. Go all in. Be bold. They could never make me hate you. This sentence right here makes me the most confident. The Mets have engaged with Kyle Tucker, even if they remain an underdog, the star outfielder. We like that. That's what we like. Keep them at an underdog. They don't need to be good. Red Sox and Suarez would be really good. And yeah, the Jays. I just told ESPN that the Blue Jays have also made a long-term offer. That's probably also coming from Tucker's camp, if I had to guess. I'd be shocked if the Jays were leaking that. All right, we're all the way at the top. I think I'm in the clear for the day. I don't think we're going to get any more Kyle Tucker news. But if we do get news tomorrow, we will get back at it again. We're going to end the poll here. Just people wanted the poll, or they wanted the stream, so we'll do that. But I want to thank everyone just for tuning in today. Shout out to every single person that was in here talking, those who subscribed, everything. And just, if you're new here, follow me on Twitter, BlueJays Domain. If you see any news that I haven't come across yet, at me. I'll go check it out. And subscribe if you guys are brand new to this channel. Open it 700. That'd be pretty cool. Share it with friends and family who also like the Blue Jays. I like to think this is a pretty fun place to be. If Toronto loses Bo and Tucker sweepstakes, where would they go next? Probably stand pat. Maybe a weird trade. That's about it. I don't really see them going for Bellinger. Yeah. But again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you all tomorrow as we continue the Kyle Tucker watch.